reflection of past, present, and future leadership based on my, Chelsea Hoke, self-assessment for EDLD 5302, Concepts of Educational Technology for Professor Talissa Thibodeau on April 17, 2016. Before starting the assessment, I was actually a little nervous to find out how much I did not know or how many areas I was uncomfortable with at the least. I thought my results were going to come back and make me second guess whether or not I've chosen the correct master's program, and maybe leave myself contemplating reconsideration. I use basic computer programs and functions for administrative purposes on a daily basis. However, I'm new to the teaching field, and I'm currently using very few technology tools in the classroom as teaching aids for instruction purposes. I use the computer for personal and work email, to keep track of attendance, to post and calculate all of my grades, to upload documents for students and coworkers, and a few other daily responsibilities. As far as class time technology, I utilize PowerPoint presentations, notice my comfort zone, safety feeling here, frequently to aid with my lesson plans, as well as overhead projectors to share my screen to show simulation programs. I started off as an instrumentation technician in the industrial field. My favorite part of my job was the constantly evolving technology. My routine work was never exactly the same for 2 consecutive days. Each time a manufacturer came out with new software, new communicators, or equipment, I would beg my boss for the opportunity to go to employee training to gain knowledge on their latest and greatest line of products. Having 4 small children, I wanted out of the industrial field, but did not want to lose everything I had worked so hard for. When I heard about a teaching position open at Lamar Institute of Technology for an instrumentation instructor, I immediately jumped on the opportunity. I have no teaching background other than the recaps I would deliver to my field team upon return from various training sessions with vendors or clients and presenting safety topics at team meetings. My first semester teaching here, I was given an older instructor's notes and outlines. Being my first semester with no prior teaching experience, I decided to take the safe route, base my course around his outlines, and build a PowerPoint with the key topics and important details to help me stay on topic during lecture and ensure that all of the important information was covered. PowerPoint, paired with an overhead projector, was my very first technology tool used in the classroom. I am now closing my 3rd semester of teaching instrumentation technology at LIT. I still use the computers for all of my administrative functions, and I still use PowerPoints with overhead projectors to help aid during my lectures. I was somewhat ashamed at the lack of technology being used in our classrooms, considering we are a technology school. I knew I needed to dig deeper and work harder as I gained confidence as an instructor. I've started using a simulator program now to mimic a PLC programming software to help engage my students and expose them to real-life scenarios. Not only have I noticed a tremendous difference in the attitudes and interests shown by the students since I've implemented the simulation exercises, but I've also seen an improvement in the classroom grade average from last semester to now. I also have all of my classes available on Blackboard to my students, even though they are face-to-face classes. I'm using Blackboard to upload important documents, maintain a current copy of my syllabus, update due dates and assignment details, and maintain communication with students outside of our scheduled class times. I also use the gradebook feature in Blackboard to ensure that my students know where they stand with their semester average at all times. I'm not quite where I want to be with technology utilization in the classroom, but I'm further now than when I first started. I have made a few small changes to get me where I am now in my career. But as I mentioned earlier, my favorite part of my past job was the constantly evolving technology. My goal is to continue to learn new technology techniques, tools, and strategies to incorporate within my classroom to engage my students, challenge different learning styles, and inspire them to think outside the paper test or assignment that they are used to. In order to achieve this, I need to step outside of my comfort zone, try new things, and accept the fact that everything may not be perfect on my first try. As a new teacher, I was held back by fear of failure. As I gain experience in the classroom, I also gain confidence. I now understand that as a teacher, I am not expected to know everything, but I am expected to have the tools to learn everything. I start off each and every semester by encouraging my students to ask questions and that I do not know everything, but anything I do not know, I will work until we find the answer. I hope to spend this summer coming up with a plan to incorporate some new techniques that I am learning in my classes as a student within my classroom as an instructor before my next fall semester starts. Upon successful implementation of these new tools and techniques, a long-term goal will be for me to pass these new ideas on to my colleagues and coworkers in hopes that their students may benefit from them also. After completing the assessment, I realized I knew quite a bit more than I thought I did. I do not consider myself to be completely fluent in every section that was covered, or any of them for that matter, because I do not use several of the programs referenced. I was unfamiliar with some of the terminology that was mentioned in the assessment, but I've been exposed to almost everything that was questioned, and with a little practice, I am most certain that I could pick these things up and learn to use some technology tools other than PowerPoint to share information with my students. Even though I stuck with a program that I'm familiar with for this first assignment, I did step out of my box and try something new. I'm using VoiceOver for the first time with my presentation. Within our first week of class, I have already found a new tool that will be extremely beneficial to me when I start teaching online classes. I am most confident that I chose the correct program, and I'm looking forward to challenging myself, as well as the rest of our cohort, to not only learn new things, but to actually try them and put them to use in our everyday lives. I'm excited about the challenging tasks that lie ahead of us, and I'm ready to push myself outside of my normal work routine to make great things happen in the lives of my students.